Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into something that's probably protecting your work accounts every single day, even if you've never actually heard its name: Microsoft Entra ID. You can think of it as the new gatekeeper to the modern cloud. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your team is everywhere, at home, in coffee shops, on the road, accessing dozens of different apps from phones, laptops, tablets. That old school idea of a secure office network with a big firewall, yeah, that's pretty much broken now. This is one of the biggest challenges for any modern business, and it's the exact problem Microsoft set out to solve. So what exactly is Entra ID? Well, at its core, it's Microsoft's cloud-based identity service. This isn't some software you install on a server in your office. Nope. It's a platform as a service, or PaaS, that Microsoft runs for you. Its entire job is to be the one single secure front door for all of your users and all of your apps. So what do you actually get with it? At a high level, it's all about balancing two things: making life way easier for your users and way, way harder for attackers. For your users, you get single sign-on, so they log in once and can get to everything they need. For the bad guys, you get multifactor authentication to stop password theft dead in its tracks. And then you have the really smart stuff, like conditional access, which basically acts like a security bouncer, checking who you are, where you're logging in from, and what device you're on before it even thinks about letting you in. Now, if you've been in the IT world for a while, you're probably thinking, hang on, isn't this just Active Directory in the cloud? Well, it's a good question, but the answer is no, not really. Let's break down the huge differences between Entra ID and its famous on-premises ancestor, Active Directory Domain Services. Looking at this, you can see right away we're talking about two completely different worlds. Active Directory was built for a time of on-site servers and a secure internal network. It speaks the language of the traditional office. Entra ID, on the other hand, was born in the cloud for a world of countless web apps and global access. It speaks the native language of the internet. Let's dig into that structure for a minute. Traditional AD organized everything into this really rigid hierarchy called organizational units, or OUs. Think of it like a big old filing cabinet. Entra ID basically throws out the filing cabinet and puts everything on one massive, easily searchable shelf. So why would they do that? Because that flat structure is built for internet scale. Instead of trying to manage a super complex tree, you control who gets to what through flexible groups and these incredibly powerful modern policies. And this is a really key technical difference. Active Directory uses protocols like Kerberos and LDAP. Now, they work perfectly fine inside a walled-off corporate network, but they really struggle on the open internet. Entra ID is a native of the web. It uses modern protocols like SAML and OAuth, which are the global standards for logging you into pretty much every single cloud app you use, and it does it all over normal encrypted web traffic. So here's the deal. You get a basic version of Entra ID for free with just about any Microsoft Business subscription. But the real security magic, the features that truly protect a modern organization, are found in the paid premium plans. The first step up is the P1 plan, and this is where things get really serious. You unlock the full power of multi-factor authentication. You get advanced security reporting, and, most importantly, you get conditional access. This feature alone is an absolute game changer. It lets you create really specific access rules like, hey, block any login attempt from outside the country unless the user is on a company laptop and they pass an MFA check. That's powerful stuff. And let's just take a beat to talk about MFA. Look, we all know that passwords are stolen constantly. In today's world, just having a password is not enough security. It's just not. Requiring that second factor, like a code from an app on your phone or a fingerprint, is one of the single most effective things you can do to protect your organization. The P1 plan makes this kind of robust protection available for everyone. The P2 plan is where you go from playing defense to playing offense. It adds two incredibly powerful tools that actively hunt for threats. First, you have identity protection, which acts like a tireless security analyst. It uses machine learning to spot weird behavior, like someone logging in from two different countries at the same time. Then there's privileged identity management, or PIM. This makes sure that nobody has powerful admin rights all the time. Instead, it grants those permissions only when they're absolutely needed, for a short period of time, which dramatically shrinks the target for any would-be attackers. And, when you're paying for a premium plan like P1 or P2, you're also paying for a promise. Microsoft guarantees 99.9% uptime with a formal service level agreement. For a service that is literally the front door to your entire organization, that level of enterprise-grade reliability isn't just a nice-to-have, it is absolutely essential. Okay, so we've established Entra ID is fantastic for all our modern web apps. But what about all those older legacy applications? The apps that were built to talk to a traditional Active Directory domain controller? Well, Microsoft has a solution for that too. This is a super common problem. You want to move an old application to the cloud, but it's hardwired to authenticate using Kerberos, or query a directory using LDAP. And you really don't want the headache of building and maintaining a bunch of domain controller servers in the cloud. So what do you do? The answer is Microsoft Entra Domain Services. The easiest way to think about it is Active Directory as a service. It gives you those traditional domain services that your legacy apps need to function, but it's all completely managed by Microsoft. You get the compatibility you need without any of the management overhead. The benefits here are all about making life simpler. It means you can finally move those older, stubborn applications to the cloud without having to completely redesign them. But more importantly, it lets your IT team stop worrying about all that tedious work of patching, securing, and babysitting domain controller servers. You get to focus on your apps, not the plumbing that makes them run. But, and this is an important but, you need to know this is not a full one-to-one replacement for an on-prem Active Directory. Because it's a managed service, there are some trade-offs. For example, you can't extend the schema, you don't get the super powerful admin rights of a domain admin, and the group policy capabilities are limited. It's really a targeted solution for a very specific problem. So let's pull this all together. Why is this big shift from traditional Active Directory to a cloud-native solution like Entra ID so incredibly important for businesses today? Really, what this all adds up to is a clear path forward. First, you get to centralize all of your user identities in one place, which gives you back control. From there, you can layer on modern security defenses like MFA and conditional access to protect against today's threats. And what's the end result for your users? Access to their apps becomes simple, it becomes seamless, and it becomes secure, no matter where they are or what they're trying to do. This quote from Microsoft's own documentation really just says it all perfectly. Entra ID wasn't designed to just be a better version of Active Directory. It was built from the ground up to solve a totally different problem: how to manage identity and access for the internet age. This move to cloud-native identity is a fundamental shift in how we think about security. It really makes you wonder, as our digital and our physical lives continue to merge, what's the next evolution for proving who we are online? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.